Welcome to the 100th episode of the Late Night Picture Show. My screen looks really blurry. Okay. This is my second take. I got a little long-winded on the last one. So we're going to shorten things up a little bit here. But I am going to talk about how this came to be. So, I wanted to do something special for my 100th episode. Since I don't really have a special drink. That's nothing fancy at all, just kind of a Rob Roy. I went out on Twitter. Y'all see me out there on Twitter? Yeah, go look for my Twitter. We have lots of fun like this. I said to my Twitter people, well, what should I do for my 100th episode? And I thought maybe I'd get recommendations like, well, you should juggle. You should have your celebrity crush on. Nobody said that. But that'd be better. What happened was, I got requests. 2 to be precise. So tonight's double feature, both requests from my Twitter people. The first one comes from Shay. And a lot of Twitter people don't have a last name. I probably wouldn't give it even if she did have one. But Shay. And I don't know what happened to Shay. I haven't seen Shay lately. But Shay's a movie buff. She likes the horror movies especially. But all kinds of movies. And older movies. But she recommended this new view. So I went out on the Tubi, probably. And I watched... No, you can't read that. Happiness of the Katakuris. Okay. This is a Japanese picture. And I'm probably going to butcher these names because I don't speak Japanese very well. I'm not even drinking a Japanese drink. I'm drinking a Rob Roy because I'm Scottish. Anyway, I'm not going to further attempt to butcher people's names by trying to read to you the names of the actors. Go out there on the Wikipedia, look up the movies, and you can see the actors, and you can pronounce them yourself. I'm sure I will do just fine butchering the names that I heard them say in the movie. Happiness of the Katakuris. I believe that's how it was pronounced. 2001 Shochiku Company Limited. Directed by Takashi Miike, I'm going to guess is how... Picture Mike with 2 eyes in the middle. That's the closest I'm going to get. Okay, so, right off the bat, we're venturing into strange Jan Svankmajer territory. And I'm not sure I pronounced that right either, but you know who I'm talking about. Alice, like Alice in Wonderland. If you haven't seen this movie, Jan Svankmajer's Alice, oh boy. We're venturing off into Jan Svankmajer territory with some bizarre-ass claymation intermixed with live-action video a la Alice. And then we meet our narrator. Our little narrator. Little girl. Yuri, who introduces us to her romantic but desperate mom, Shizu. Her criminally inclined, not really bad, but criminally inclined uncle Masayuki, her nutso great-grandfather Jinpei, And the couple behind this adventure, Grandma and Grandpa, Grandpa Masao and Grandma Teru. Well, it seems that Grandma and Grandpa have bought this out-of-the-way inn. And they're kind of turning it into, well, it's still called an inn. It has a funny name that I can't remember. A bed and breakfast. I don't know that the Japanese call it a bed and breakfast, but that's what it is. With the promise of big returns when the new road comes through, right past the inn. Well, meanwhile, they're kind of waiting around. Mom and Uncle fighting with each other, carrying on. Waiting for someone, anyone, to come by after a couple of false starts. We finally get a guest. This guy comes in on a rainy night. He appears just soaking wet. They get him up to his room, and they're just fumbling over each other, trying to help this guy. It's rather comedic. They get him checked in. And in the morning, they go up and discover that he's committed suicide during the night. Now, I know, Murph, that's not very funny. Well, okay, it's not very funny. And it's actually a pretty gruesome discovery when they walk in on. So, our first guest has committed suicide. Has he put a curse on the inn? What should we do? Well, let's sing a song. Yeah, you got it. This is a musical. So they sing and dance about the disaster in front of them. and they, at the end of their song and dance, well, let's just conceal the body and pretend like it never happened, because this could be bad for business, and we've got to save the family business. So their next guest, a famous sumo wrestler, arrives with kind of a live-action Dora the Explorer. I hope that she was older than Dora the Explorer, but she doesn't look very old. We're going to say she's 18, though. And they get a room. And let's just say that soon they have to deal with getting this heavy-ass sumo wrestler out of the inn. I think you know what I'm talking about. And they bury him by the lake, too. Well, meanwhile, Shizu, Mommy, has gone to town and met an admiral in the Imperial and/or American Navy. Okay. Pudgy Japanese guy. I wrote swarthy here. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. He was far from swarthy. I'm more swarthy than this guy was. Pudgy face, stringy long hair, Japanese fellow in an American admiral outfit, all white. Does not look the part at all. But that doesn't stop Shizu. Yeah, she ignores every red flag there is. She doesn't know what a red flag is. And she swoons, quite literally. Turns out our admiral here is also the only adopted Japanese member of the royal family. Not a red flag for Shizu. So, what we come down to, now try to pay attention here, kind of a mess with the road planned to go right through their makeshift cemetery, which now has more than 2 bodies in it. We have a musical number with the corpses in the cemetery sitting up out of their graves and dancing, singing along. Okay, yeah. The cops arriving, and everyone, oh shit, the jig's up. But wait, we got a hostage situation. Somebody got Grandma with a gun to her head. Where the hell did this come from? Okay. I'm not going to summarize the movie anymore. I'm not going to tell you anymore because yeah, just that's where we end up. Okay, I'll be honest. I'm not a big fan of musicals, okay? I've seen South Pacific. I've seen Guys and Dolls. Yeah, Marlon Brando sang. I've seen. Well, I did kind of like Lil Abner. But I like Lil Abner in general, and it was kind of surreal with the sets and everything. But anyway, I'm not a huge fan of musicals. So, but the songs were actually pretty good in this. And I'm going to say that even more than Alice. So, I have never, ever in my life said to myself, what the fuck am I watching? More times than I did in this movie. I mean, every 3 to 5 minutes, I'm like saying to myself, even out loud sometimes, what the fuck am I watching? Claymation bits, the songs, the scrambling to hide bodies. I mean, they're constantly out there with the shovels. The whole family out there with the shovels. But this, what did I say here? Was a delightfully insane little picture. Think more Little Shop of Horrors musical. Yeah, more along those lines, but still not like that. This was, in fact, unlike anything I've seen. I mean, maybe if I saw a Jan Svankmajer musical, but I haven't, so let's just say that. Okay, while this may not reach up here Rocky Horror cult movie level, and frankly, what the hell will reach Rocky Horror cult level when you got people going off in the theater like that? Yeah, that's not something you just attain with any movie, and I don't think it's going to happen with this movie. However, right there, I give this movie 5 rings. It's a 5-ring circus on the late night picture show tonight for sheer originality on this movie. 5. Where'd that go? It didn't hit the ground over here. Okay. I wrote on the bottom there, take note, Hollywood. You think Hollywood will take note of originality? You think Hollywood gives a shit about originality? Where am I at here? Oh, good. I trimmed a whole 5 minutes off. No, they're just going to keep making superhero movies. I've told them 100 times, you're going to make another comic book movie, make a Ralph Snart movie. For the love of Buddha, make a Ralph Snart movie. No. They're going to make Spider-Man 17 instead. Well, anyway, let's go freshen up our drinks. Still all right on that one. I might not make a whole nother one. But stay tuned, because coming up next is a movie that has absolutely nothing to do with this first movie and was requested by our Twitter friend Steven, and I know I'm going to mess this one up too. Ayotte? Ayotte? I don't know. Ayotte. And he asked for this movie from the year yours truly was born. That's right. We're taking a trip down memory lane here on the Late Night Picture Show on Feature 2. Let's all go to the lobby, make ourselves a drink. Be right back.